So if your resume isn't currently grabbing any attention, stay tuned. This video is for you. Hey folks, this is Kim. Welcome to livemorenow.net. Today I want to share with you a couple of quick tips that might be able to help you get your resume noticed a little more quickly if you find that you've been submitting applications and not receiving any feedback. Now, I have a longer video that I posted a couple years ago, actually, for those of you who don't currently have a resume built. That video is much longer, goes much more in depth as to how to actually create a new resume. But for those of you who have an existing resume, today's video should hopefully help get you more noticed. Number one, don't use language in your resume that is overly company specific. This actually drives me crazy when I read resumes all the time that say something like, I use JMS to create TPP reports. I have no idea what you do. It doesn't explain anything to me about your current job duties. And if anything, it shows me that you don't have the common sense to know that anybody reading that, unless it's your coworker, isn't going to know what that means. So rather than using overly specific company jargon, say something like, I use the company software to track orders, or whatever that is. But break it down to language that any stranger is going to be able to understand what you do. Number two, make your bullet points on your resume results oriented. Now, every position in a company has to add financial value, whether you are a senior manager or a mail clerk. It always boils down to how the company can add revenue or decrease cost. So as much as possible on your resume, make sure that your bullet points show the result, the positive result of whatever it is that you do. So using my previous example, you use the company software to track open orders, to ensure on-time deliveries, or something that shows us how you actually improve the company's bottom line by your mere presence. Now, even if you're in an entry-level position, folks, you can still use this. Perhaps you created a filing system that improved efficiencies or whatever. Nobody is calling your current employer to verify that Joe said he improved the efficiencies by 20%. Nobody's gonna double check that. So I don't encourage lying on your resume, but you can definitely be a little bit creative as you're thinking of your result-oriented bullets. Number three, keep your resume to one page. I have seen recent college grads show up with 3-page resumes who have little or no work experience, which is ridiculous. Unless you are in a senior role or in a highly specialized industry, you should always try to keep your resume to at most one page. Now, chances are, again, if you have 3 pages, either your formatting is way off and you need to double check the font size and your margins, but more likely you're probably sharing too much information or just being too wordy. So make sure that your bullet points are very concise. You don't need to use complete sentences. So again, like using the previous example, managed tracking report to make sure open orders were completed on time, to decrease budget costs or whatever. Just one line. You don't need to give a thesis about who you are, your dog's name, or that you like long walks on the beach. Also, for some of you veterans out there, I would recommend perhaps not sharing all of your work history. Unfortunately, ageism does happen. So I would say if you have 30 years of work experience, you might want to think about if it makes sense to reducing that, only showing the last 10 or 15 years of work, especially if the job that you're applying for doesn't require 30 years of experience. Some people reviewing a resume with someone with a long work history might assume that your salary requirements are too high, or they might be concerned with, well, this person's going to retire in just a few years, or whatever other ageist thoughts that person might have. So I recommend shortening your history to something that makes sense. Unless you're a recent college grad with little or no work experience, then I don't need to see that you worked at Burger King during summers while you were in high school. Just remember, folks, that your resume is not intended to be your life story. It's meant to be a marketing brochure to help you sell yourself. Now, finally, folks, if your resume shows that you've held several positions over a short period of time or shows gaps in employment, definitely be prepared to explain that away. Before you jump ship from your current employer, make sure that that's the best move long-term for your resume, and make sure you have another job before you do quit. So good luck, folks. I'd love to hear from you in the comment section below with any personal experiences that you've had. Thank you so much for visiting livemorenow.net.